What's up, everybody? It's Brendon. Welcome to the Growth Day Morning Show. We have a very exciting guest today who, well, I don't even know if I call her the guest, but let's just say our co-host has a big announcement today, which I'm going to be welcome into right now. We are welcoming into the Growth Day Morning Show. Kern Lima is not only is she is back as a New York Times best-selling author. She got the news last night that her book, Believe It, which so many of you guys have supported in so extraordinary ways, is now a New York Times bestseller list being announced this weekend. Jamie found out yesterday. How did it feel? New York Times bestseller.
You called it here. You put it in the universe here on the Growth Day Morning Show first. Do you remember this? You said it, and I just sat there. I didn't want to jinx it. Yeah, no, I found out, I got the phone call late last night, and it's so overwhelming. Yeah, you know, when you hear news, sometimes you're just trying to process it. And then I couldn't sleep last night. At midnight, I went live into my, I had a book launch team of people that just bought the book early and have been helping spread the word. And I went live into that group and just started crying. You know what I mean? Because it's just overwhelming. And you know, Brendon, I'm donating 100% of the proceeds of the book. I'm really just doing this because I think so many people need hope and inspiration right now. And like it's been 14 months, right, of so many people kind of dimming their light and just self-doubt taking over for especially so many women and parents. And this book is just really, I think, coming out at the perfect time, you know, because so many people need, and so is this morning show, because so many people need to just reignite that light again and have hope and inspiration. And a lot of people are spreading the word, like sharing the word, and that's like super special. So yeah, and it's just week one. So most people haven't even gotten it there, you know, in their hands yet. So I'm overwhelmed, but just so grateful. Thank you to everyone too, part of our Growth Day morning show that's kind of been spreading the word about it too, and I'm super grateful. I hope it's a giant force for more goodness into the world, right?
It totally is, and so well deserved. If people, you know, people always see the end results of life, and so rarely do they know the process and the hard road and the hours that go into building anything, a best-selling book or a new movement or a new company, or, you know, just a good, great quality of life where you're all healthy and happy. It takes a lot of focus, which is our emphasis this week.
Yes.
Jamie, I'm sorry, it's not streaming into your Facebook page. It said error with the stream key.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, but we'll
figure it out.
We're with our Growth Day people on Instagram, our Growth Day people on Facebook, and we're here. And I just want to really, if you're joining us here, please give in the comments, because Jamie does look at these comments, give her some congratulations for becoming her first book ever New York Times best-selling author. It'll be on the list this Sunday. You'll be able to see it. And it's so exciting. This is after her debut at #1 on Amazon, her debut at #1 on Barnes & Noble, which is so huge, y'all. If you knew how hard that was, oh my gosh. But also, so many of you over these last 2 months with us have just cheering it on. I see you all the time. I got the book. And so for those of you who got the book, you ordered it, it arrives. Read those first 10 pages. I promise it'll make you read the next 50 and the next 200. It's so good. It's encouraging. It reminds you that, you know what, this hardship you're experiencing at this season of your life is totally normal, totally okay. That the bullies you're facing and the people who say no to you, that's part of it. That all the turmoil going on in your family, totally normal. Like, you just realize, like, oh, other people who have lots of success and other people who are trying hard too, we all struggle with family and finances and continuing on. And I think Believe It really touches that fundamental lesson we know in personal development. You must continue to see a different future for yourself. You must believe in yourself, even when the people around you don't get it. And your belief shows up in your behavior. If you really believe, you keep showing up. If you don't believe in, you lack consistency, you procrastinate, you hold back, you give yourself excuses and reasons to quit week after week after week, which, listen, we've all been there at some point in our lives. But I hope that the Growth Day morning show encourages you every morning just to find a little bit of that joy, a little bit of enthusiasm for your day. You deserve to have great things in your life. And so our week's theme this week, Jamie, has been how to increase focus and discipline and drive,
Yeah.
especially when it's hard. What's something that you have found as you've been launching Believe It that helped you with the focus? Because it's so much work.
It's so much work. I mean, for me, I always try to bring it back to why am I doing what I'm doing, right? Like the bigger thing that's not about me. Also, you know, you and I are both, and by the way, most everyone on this morning show with us live, I think you coined this phrase. What did you say? Personal growth, personal development, personal growth, dorks, or personal, like geeking out on personal development. I've gotten so many messages about that. People are like, I'm a personal growth. I love to geek out on that stuff too. And
Yeah.
I, you know, have loved this stuff my whole life. So I do it for myself in my downtime. I love it. And on the topic of focus, you know, even just this morning, I was reading quotes, reading things in my toolbox. One of the things I talk about and Believe It is how I have an imaginary toolbox I've created. And, you know, I keep set my notes app on my phone. I'm still laughing at you right now. Did your phone just
all
fall
day?
again?
This is like the second or
Tell me
third
what just
time
happened.
this phone, because I'm trying to fix the issue we're having in your thing. I'm like, there must be something I can do. There's nothing I can do. It is what it is.
No, we'll figure it out. Listen, week 1. So we're in week 8 of the Growth Day Morning Show. By the way, if you guys are just hopping on, this is as good as it gets right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, Bernice says on Facebook, your book, Believe It, is so good. So many lessons to learn. Read it several times already. She was part of the Unstoppable group. I'm seeing all these people who are reading your book and supporting it and cheering it on, Jamie. And I just hope that, talking about focus, one of the greatest things we can do is focus on our blessings and focus on the people who support us.
Yes.
And I hope you just drink it in and take it in today, because it's such a remarkable accomplishment to become a New York Times bestselling author. 200,000 plus books released every single year. You'll have a collection of 60 that kind of hover on the New York Times throughout the year. So it's a huge, impossible thing. So I hope that you all take some of the lessons that she has been sharing in the book into your own heart. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm seeing so many people celebrate you right now. It's just like, yay!
You guys, thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's overwhelming. Thank you. And you know, if you love the book, if you got value, like if you know someone that can't afford a book, give your copy to someone, or just spread the word if you got value from it. That's my hope. It's, you know, I just think that we're all in this together. And but yeah, Brendon and I, week 8 morning show, right? Week 8 morning show here. And if you guys remember together, week 1, I don't even know what tech was working. So at this point, we're good. Like, we're golden. So eventually we'll get it into my Facebook groups too. But for now, I think this is amazing. And if you're just hopping on, make sure you tag someone that needs hope and inspiration in the morning, who needs just a boost, right? One of the things I talk about a lot, Brendon, is that a consistent message I get from so many people in the Growth Day Morning Show community is just that this morning show is the person in their inner circle that day who's going to boost them up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we want to be for you. We want to be an encouraging force in your life, because a lot of people don't have that. They just don't. You know, their spouse doesn't get it, or the kids are just your turmoil, or people at work are downers. And so sometimes you just need someone to look you in the face every morning and say, listen, you got this. You are so strong. You can still achieve your dreams. Don't give up. Don't let them shut you down. Don't let them question, you know, who you are. You know in your heart your capabilities and what you can do, and honor that, and focus on your strengths and the vision you have for your future every single day. Just keep revisiting, and you'll have those breakthroughs, even though we all have bad days too.
Yeah, and I think this week on the topic of focus, you know, so this morning, just because I do totally geek out on personal development, personal growth, just I have forever. You know, when I was a Denny's waitress, I'd save my tip money for, you know, personal growth books, and I just have always been that way. But this morning, all alone in my hotel room, it's day 17. I've been in this hotel room doing the event, because I came out a week early to prep for the event and then the book launch stuff. And so I was in here reading actually quotes this morning about focus, and one of them that I read, just want to share with everybody. I just thought it was so powerful, right? Because I just had this big thing happen, getting the New York Times bestseller list. So just to give I guess, Brendon, let me just go there, because you and I just kind of peel back the curtain and let everyone in on this Growth Day Morning Show. And So what happened last night was I got this big phone call, and then it turned into a Zoom, and all of the people from the publisher and Simon and Schuster and everyone was on this big Zoom cheersing. Everyone's excited. And then right away comes up talk about book number 2. And right, I know. And then I won't even say who called me. Okay, how do I not get in trouble? Okay, a couple people then called me after, and they're like, and then the next book, and I'm just like, whoa. And I just want to bring this up for a reason, because I always talk about our own growth and our own growth journey. I am making the decision right now to focus on not doing this to myself again, meaning so many times, right? So many times we have a win in the day, and maybe that win is that we went on our morning walk. Maybe that win is that, but then it's so easy for our own selves or other people to be like, well, what about this, or what's next, or what, right? And I did that to myself for a decade. Like in the decade of building my company, you know, for so many years we had no success and no money and no traction. But when we finally started getting it, and we finally started getting big wins and all these things, and, you know, the beauty industry that always discounted me all of a sudden was giving me all these awards, and all this stuff was happening. And I never stopped to appreciate it and feel it and celebrate it. It was always like, oh, but what about this and what about that? And I just think that it applies to our lives every single day when it comes to focus, is that it's so easy and other people will do this to us, right? They'll say, oh, but you know, what's next? And, oh, you got that? Well, what about that, right? And then all of a sudden, before we know it, we're not even able to feel the day. We're just thinking about the things that, you know, we can still keep going for, or that help other people more, or whatever it is. And we end up feeling not enough where we're at with what we have. And I just think that focusing on the victories too is really important, you know? And sometimes the victory is just not eating the Oreos. You know what I mean? Like, that's a victory. Like picking up the berries when you don't want them. Like if you're blessed enough to have berries, and then being like, wow, I'm blessed to have berries, right? Like that's a victory. But how many times are we just like there's so much going on that we end up focusing on what we don't have. And I just had this, you know, you and I both, I think, are really sharing with everyone in connection and community on this show, not just the things we've learned and the things we teach and the things we coach others on. Like I've had the blessing of mentoring now so many entrepreneurs and so many women. Really go there and in addition to teaching stuff, we really go there and share what's actually going on in our own lives. And I just want to share that with everyone in the community today, because maybe somebody needs to hear this too. Is last night I had a moment of, oh wait, everyone else has already moved on. And like they're like, okay, what's next? Book number 2. I'm like, whoa, like I am intentionally deciding right now I'm not doing a book number 2 at this moment. I'm intentionally deciding, how can I inspire and impact and be in this moment and connect with real human beings who need the stories in this book, who need hope and inspiration? How can I show up and serve right now and be grateful where I'm at and feel the moment? And so it was a big moment of realization about focus last night. And I just want to share that because I think I've failed to do that for a number of years. And
yeah, it's always that next thing, chasing that next thing is so exhausting.
Yeah.
And it also, I'll share with this because I know those calls. Been blessed to have 6 of them in my career now. And let me share the biggest mistake of all of it is that what happens is people focus on the blips. They're like, oh, I got this thing. I mentored one woman one time who she got on the Today Show, and everyone in her life was like, oh my God, you got on Today Show. You did it. Yes, celebrate victory to them. She's like, that's an appearance. That's a start. She was focused on the mission. So the show was the blip, right? Everyone sees the blip, celebrates the victory, celebrates the blip. But to make something real, you have to choose in your life, okay, am I going to focus on those little blips and that's done, that's completion, next thing, next product, next thing, or am I going to make a blockbuster? And that's the thing. The thing about focus too is it's not just about not going on the next thing because it feels terrible, which it does, and going on the next thing too fast because you don't get to celebrate it. It's also, if you just bounce from project to project to project, you never take anything deep.
Yeah.
It doesn't form roots. It doesn't
Yeah.
like become a thing ingrained in people's lives. It's like Apple didn't need to make 4,000 products. It was like, we're going to make 5 and we're going to dominate with these 5. It's like,
Yeah.
we're going to stick to the things and spend time on them to cultivate them, to grow them. Books are like that. Yeah, I'm still promoting High Performance Habits. It came out 3.5 years ago. And it's still selling equally as good because I still perpetuate the book and I tell the story in the emails and our Facebook groups and everything. I think it's, if you've got something and it's working, sometimes it's like, let's double down on that. Let's grow that. Let's make that the thing instead of, oh, let's go plant 7 more fields right now. It's like, let's cultivate this field and let's feel this field. Let's be part of it. Let's grow something we're proud of and set roots on something. I feel like we live in a very distracted next society and no one's building roots. So that's why we lack a society that has any significant missions, any significant movements, because no one sits with it and cultivates it. And I think that's important for branding. I think it's important for books. I think it's important for all of you who are trying to do something, get your health right. You don't get to go to the gym one time and be like, oh, I guess I'll try the next thing. It's like, you got to stay on the thing. You got to cultivate the thing.
Yeah. So one of the quotes I was reading this morning, just because I'm sort of a dork like that, this is what I do. Every day, forever, right? Poetry, read quotes, all that stuff. I just love it so much. And anyways, I came across this quote this morning from Oprah who said, when we focus on what we have, we get more. And when we focus on what we don't have, we never have enough. And I just thought it was so powerful too around this idea of focus. You know what I mean? For this week when I did it this morning, because it is so easy. It is so easy to focus on what we don't have yet or what isn't, all those things.
Or what we haven't done yet or achieved yet. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you never achieve enough. You never have enough. You never, right? And someone like her, who from the outside seems to have everything, her whole thing is when you focus on what you have more. And I think that is just such a powerful thing.
She's such a great example for that.
Yeah.
She did a show for 20 years. She didn't do a million things. She did a show for 20 years. That's unbelievable discipline and dedication.
Yeah. I just think, I think it's great because I think, it's something that every one of us where we're at right now with whatever is going on in our life can make that shift too on focusing on what we have and seeing if we really intentionally do that. Do we have more? Are you good?
Sure.
Is it your side with Facebook? Is that what you're looking at?
I'm fine. I'm seeing everything okay.
Good. Oh, okay. Maybe it's on my end.
I also think, on the topic of focus, I wanted to jump in something today that I think people will resonate with, which was for this idea of focusing on what you have and focusing on what you have achieved. I think one great way to look at it too is sometimes when you're just going really strong and you don't feel the day, you don't feel victory, you don't feel, in alignment or the things are going, perfectly. I just remind you one great thing. Everyone goes, yeah, I need more focus. And I say, well, what are you focusing on? What is the discipline you are building? And one thing I think that most people don't focus on enough is their enjoyment of life. Like you have to build in moments throughout the day to feel the day. You have to build in moments throughout the day, even when everything else is in chaos or not perfect, to still experience life and feel the day. So it's like your morning walk or, Denise and I, we just took our morning walk and then afterwards I jumped in the ocean and just spent 5 minutes floating like a dumb turtle there, just like, oh, this is great. And just even though I have, 400 emails I get personally today that none of my 200 plus team members can answer. So the 400 that come to me every day and the 78 SMS texts I get every day. So 80 texts a day, 400 emails a day for a decade. I don't wake up in the morning going, oh my God, I got to get to those. I don't go throughout the day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in lack because I haven't responded to all of those. And I don't have inbox 0. I'm like, okay, what's important? I want to make sure that even though I have tasks, even though I have lots of things to do, am I focused and disciplined throughout the day to enjoy little moments? Sometimes that's just like, hey, go pet the cat. Sometimes that's take your walk. Sometimes that's your gym time. That is your lifetime. Sometimes it's your reading with your book and your green tea. Sometimes it's, calling your mama. Sometimes, whatever it is, if you don't build those in, the email, the text, the social media, the distractions from everybody else throwing their mission and their thing at you eats you alive. And all of a sudden you're not in the ocean, or all of a sudden you're not calling your mama, or all of a sudden you're not in the gym. And it's easy to let other things encroach. And so what I wanted to share today was like, hey, make sure that as you're hustling, you're all grit and you're working so hard, please make sure your focus and discipline is also to make sure you build life into each day. Because what are you building it all for unless you're able to have more freedom each day and have more fulfillment each day? What's all the hustle and the grit and all that stuff for? If at some point you're not going to be a point where you enjoy the day more, but what if you could teach yourself now to enjoy the day as if you had what you needed? I think that is what I learned a lot from Buddhism and Taoism is, can I enjoy the day as if I already had everything? Can I enjoy the day as if I already was worth it? As if I already was in that state of bliss? Like if the bank account was full, the kids were all, dressed and clothed and happy. Like everybody was happy with you and you had all sorts of Shangri-La moments in your life. Could you not just create that right now? Could you not create that 3 or 4 times throughout the day? Maybe you just visualize, you connecting with source and you notice that you're full. Like God's got you. You're good. Like God made you unique and beautiful and strong and still here and gave you breath this morning. Can you sit with that without thinking my email or without thinking that promotion? That's what I have found, that the high performers I admire, they've figured out how to build that in. And it's inspired me. There was plenty of times in my life I didn't do enough of that. And I was like, oh, there must be a better way. Because going weeks without feeling life or months without taking a breath, that's not life. Like, why? So I love that Jamie's been talking very openly. She's been doing great this time around, even though she's worked harder than any of us will ever know. I think it's important that to see us trying. Okay?
Yeah.
See it trying. We all have lots to go and we have lots to do, and we built billion-dollar businesses. The question is, can we still find those moments of sanity and joy in life within the moment?
So many things you just said are so powerful, but I think, well, first of all, just going way back, people are like, oh, I lack focus, but what are you focusing on, right? And I think like a lot of people don't even know that answer. They don't even know that answer. I think that's so profound, just that. And then also something you just said that's so powerful is like the idea of scheduling in, feeling the day and feeling alive and enjoying the day. I think that is big. No one thinks to schedule those things in. They only think to schedule in all the things that take them away from from feeling the day, right? And then their whole thing is packed. And one more thing, the idea of, can you live as if everything is, okay? I think that's huge, because if we don't figure out how to do that now, there's those famous words that you accomplish a big thing, you finally get that, but it never changes anything because you take you with you, right?
Yeah.
You take you with you no matter what ends up happening, no matter how full your bank account gets, no matter what book you write or what job you get or what victory your kids have or whatever it is, you still take you with you, right? Those famous words. And so getting you right, so important, right? From where we're at right now. I think that's so huge. I think that's really huge.
So huge. And I'll give it a last metaphor and example for people. I've been coaching a lot of CEOs over the last decade of my life. And I worked with one CEO I remember went in, who I learned this, I kind of learned that in corporate America, you know what people fear in corporate America? An empty calendar. They're terrified. If they have a spot on their calendar, they feel guilty, like, oh, I need to fill that with a meeting. And so, yes, I'll take every meeting you throw by me. They feel like they just have to be, they feel like productivity is every block of time scheduled in some meeting with some people. Mm-hmm. And I was coaching this one executive one time, and we looked at his calendar. It was the first thing I do with the client. I want to see their calendar. I want to see their last 6 months of a calendar. It tells me so much. And it was just, I mean, meeting. And I just looked at it. This was the first day meeting this executive. And I looked at the calendar, I go, you're secretly miserable inside, aren't you? Mm. And I don't think anyone had ever said that. And he was like, what? And I said, there's not a moment in here from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. that's not scheduled. Mm. And I'm the schedule yourself. I'm the high performance planner guy. I love scheduling. I love scheduling, but it's blocks of time that show clear progress towards the needle moving activities that matter. Mm. Most people can wipe out half the meetings in their week with absolutely no impact whatsoever on their performance or their productivity in the work. Half the meetings, half. And so this guy, we had to cut out 90%. And that made the business better. It made him happier. It made his teams happier because you didn't have a grumpy bear there all day. Suddenly it was like, oh, now there's a creative force back in. And so I feel like some of you've scheduled yourself and the kids and the projects and the dreams 24/7, but there's no take a walk at the park. There's no read a book. There's no meditate. There's no gym. There's no like life outside of those things. And there will never be life outside those things until you build them in. Like everyone says, what should I focus on? I'm like, have you ever focused on creating lots of blocks of free time? I mean, where's the block of free time that you've been focused on building? I just feel like if we're going to focus on anything, let's focus on building a great life, or to the extent that we can. Because yes, we got to make the money and we got to launch the projects, we got to do the work. But could we focus on building a greater lifestyle? No matter what your income is, no matter how young the kids are, no matter how much the business is growing or how many teams, could you still just give a few minutes or even hour a week thinking of how to build more goodness into your life?
Okay.
I think that's worth the focus. And I've learned people don't focus on that. They're focused on everything else, but building life into life.
Yes. Building life into life.
That's it.
So good. I know every minute, I'm really mindful of this. A lot of new people are hopping on, and I just want to say, Brendon and I are here every morning. Because I was going to say, Brendon, tomorrow morning, I know we're wrapping up Focus Week, right? Tomorrow, Friday, on Growth Week. And I really want to revisit a couple things on the idea of building life into life that you brought up in the past, even with taking breaks, even with scheduling. Like, I have so many things I want to bring up. I'll save them for tomorrow because I know we're out of time today. But they're big, and I think this is huge. I think we all need to do this. I need to do this better. Scheduling life in life. Scheduling life in life. Like,
yes, you have to build life into your life. That's like simple things we do. Like know what your vacations are at the beginning of the year for the rest of the year. So you can be like, oh, I look forward to that. Building in every week. Like, where is that time, that 1 hour for you? That's going to be like your straight up wellness hour. Really, you gave 40 hours to somebody else's ticket, but you didn't give yourself 1 hour. You can't take 1 hour out of 40. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's important. So we'll revisit it. With that, I want to say to everybody, thank you for your support of Jamie's book, Believe It. If you haven't got it, go get it, because now it's a New York Times bestseller. So deserved. Such
thank you. It's a Growth Day morning show victory is what that is. Everyone,
so big. So big. It's a great victory for you, Jamie, and a great start to something that is just really important with this book. And I'm just so happy for you, and it's so well deserved. The book is so phenomenal. It's going to change so many people's lives. So I can't wait for all to get it, because I know a lot of you ordered it last week. So I cannot wait for you to get the book, crack it open, read the first 10 pages, tell 10 friends. That's your job. 10 pages, 10 friends. Let's get it. Let's support Jamie. She comes here every morning for you free, just to put some goodness and energy in the world. So I'm always pushing it forward too. I hope you will encourage her and cheer her on. Make sure you follow her over on Instagram and tell her you saw her in the Growth Day morning show and you love her. Take a screenshot of our smiley faces. Tell your friends we're here 7:30 Pacific every single weekday. Please remember, Oh my gosh, Jamie's such a demonstration of this. Just a demonstration that goodness is rewarded. Please remember every day you can choose a good attitude, even when it's frustrating, hard, difficult, long journey. Please remember to be generous with other people. Please remember to believe it. Please always know that tomorrow's wonderful. Tomorrow's gonna be a great day. Today's gonna be a great day. Every day is a good day to grow, and we're doing it together on the Growth Day Morning Show. I made it rhyme. Look at that. Okay, thanks everybody. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Brendon.